everybody, I'm Blitz. Welcome to a brand new game called Surviving Mars. Now, this game comes out on the 15th of March 2018. The release date was announced today. I had the opportunity to fly out to California and test out the game for roughly 3 hours last weekend and had a lot of fun playing with it. So this is not necessarily a sponsor game, but they are supporting this video. I'm not getting paid to play it, but they did fly me out to California. So not necessarily sponsored, but sponsored. I wanted you guys to know that straight up front. Anyway, this is a game that is developed by Hyamont Games. You might recognize as the developers of most of the Tropico series, and it is published by Paradox, who you might recognize by City Skylines and like Stellaris or Hearts Iron, those sort of games. So you got this really good feeling of like a city builder mixed with a planet builder kind of game, and it's based on surviving on Mars. Like, it's based on the technologies that we have, thinking that will help us out on Mars. Now, there are some things. It's obviously a video game. It's not going to take months and months and months to get a shipment from Earth, but it is still kind of cool making concrete on the planet Mars and then using that as to build up your structures, managing resources, and those sort of things. So I'm going to do the best I can to walk you through a couple of videos, like one today, one tomorrow, and probably one on Saturday or Sunday as well. Editing it down a little bit so it's not going to be over the top, and it is all post-commentary because I didn't have a way to record my audio in a professional audio quality sort of way. So it starts the game by getting a mission sponsor and a commander profile, a company logo, and a mystery, and then that develops your difficulty bonus. You can pause that and look through all of those. I picked the Hydro Engineer because I really am a hydraulic engineer in real life. Like, that was my job before I did YouTube, so I thought that would be kind of fun. Hydraulic and hydrologic engineer was my job description. So the next thing we do is we pick our payload. We send in prefabricated buildings, different RC rovers, then we can do drones and concrete and metals and polymers, machine parts, electronics, all that fun stuff. And then once you get to launch, you start on the planet. Now, this is, I think it's kind of based on actual satellite imagery of the planet Mars, and you can pick different areas. There's a few different areas that are prefabricated or pre-made, like these two. We're gonna pick that one because it's got good concrete, good water, good metals, kind of like that. Low threats, couple meteors once in a while. So that's kind of the way to change the game on the different times, is picking your location and picking your threats.
Welcome to Mars.
So we are going to land down on Mars. They're impatient to see our rocket touch down. So we're going to pick our spot. We have one little square on the map right up there that is already scanned for us. We have a couple surface metals there on the ground, and we have that 3 red thing. It's also metals, but that requires people in a dome to harvest on their own. So we're going to launch down the rocket right here, and we're going to start on the orbital probe to select a new area to scan. And it's going to scan that. It found an anomaly. You can see the little rocket touching down there. There's that anomaly in that corner. Aw, I wanted to see the rocket touch down. There it goes. There it goes. Hello, little rocket man. Yay. And as soon as it touches down, you can see our logo on the ship. And then a bunch of little dudes are going to come up. Now we have our RC rover. We have here's the rover number 1. He travels. What he does is he has little drones on him, and the drones can collect stuff. Then we have the explorer. The explorer goes to collect all of the anomalies that you find. And then we have a transport, which is like a big rover, which can start collecting resources on the surface. Now, the first things we want to do is we want to start creating like solar panels for power, right? Makes sense. You can have solar panels, you can have wind turbines, and there is another one called like a Stirling generator. And we can put the wind turbine right next to the things. You do get some benefits having wind turbines at higher levels of the atmosphere. And then you can see the concrete there on the ground. So there's no cable connection. It's not powered yet, but we'll do the best we can to cover that up. And our guys are going to start. You see our RC transport down there is collecting the metals, and these little drones are collecting the metals too. They're going to bring the metal back and start building up that first solar panel. There it goes. We got our first solar panel. Power online. So you have to connect the solar panel to different things. It took me a little bit of time to understand how the connections work. I figured that all of the buildings like RimWorld would be connected, like the batteries in RimWorld have their internal power supply and their internal battery or their internal wiring, so you can connect them together. It's not the way this works. Everything actually has to have that little black line there connect them. There is a large research tech, and you get the different research, like you can see the biotech, engineering, robotics, physics, and social. I don't have any social yet, really. I'm not going for it because we don't have any people yet. But as soon as we get a dome, then we can start getting people. And that is where the game really starts to get interesting and difficult. I think that'd be the best way to put it, because they're basically a resource. People are a huge resource in this game. You have to have all your resources feeding into keeping your people alive, and then your people themselves are a resource because they're coming from Earth until you get the tech to make babies on Mars. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. That middle to end game is about as far as I got in my playthrough, and it got pretty difficult. So my little drones here are making that concrete extractor. It's really cool. I like how the animations in the game, like I said earlier, the game is based on concrete. Like, that is the main building supply, because frankly, using the concrete on the planet, or using the soils and the rocks on the planet, it's probably a pretty good way to make buildings. So we have the wind turbine. I put down that big battery. I like having a battery in. There's no events of the batteries blowing up that I've found, which I'm excited about. I hate that one in RimWorld where the batteries blow up. I did put down a tray, or a little storage unit. You can see I have my polymers. The little drones are loading it up, and there's the big drone coming in. The big drone's going to work. And that was my my explorer. He's going to go scan another node. And we have another concrete up top there. There's another concrete, and there's the other node. We have 2 more surface metals over there as well. We're going to need to start getting into some power, or not power, some water pretty soon, because water is pretty necessary to grow people. And there's the concrete extractor go. Look at it, it's driving a little diamond tip blade over it, a metal tip blade, like steel carbide or something. And it's driving over it, and then it collects it, and then it shoots it out on the backside. You see that little platform in the back where the little drone went to, and he picked it up. He's going to bring that to the little platform outside that wind turbine, and then the wind turbine gets to get built. So we got another little dude there, and I don't know what I'm going to do with him. We have waste rock too. You see the waste rock at the top. So extractors, you extract both concrete and waste rock. I've had problems with the waste rock if you don't have drones around it, or little workers. If you don't have those around it, they won't clear the waste rock, and then you run into issues where it gets overwhelmed. So over time they'll clear out the waste rock on their own. See that they're just dropping little puddles over there, grabbing the extra concrete, and then building up that battery. So it's a concrete battery, no lithium evidently, and you can see it made that little black line there as well. So they're still building up that wind turbine too. You see it's almost full, that little stockpile, and there is a storage unit. There's a storage, nope, not salvage, not paused. We're going to faster. Okay, there's storage, you see it was flashing there, and then there's the dumping site as well. And the dumping site you can put down, and then they put all of the waste rock on there. That battery inflates almost when it gets stored power, and right now we're not really storing anything because we're making the same amount. And this is where I don't recognize that each wind turbine and everything has to be connected. So I run out of power even though my wind turbine's there, just because it's not connected, and I don't recognize it because this is literally the first time that I'm playing the game. I'm still a noob. I'm gonna make a concrete depot? Nope. What am I gonna do next? Make a sensor tower? Oh, sensor towers were kind of cool. Boost the scanning speed, especially for nearby sectors. Extends the advanced warning of meteorite strikes as well. So those are kind of cool. They just allow you to scan and put that a little bit away. I don't think that one had to have power. Oh, I didn't build it. Oh well. But now I do recognize that I don't have any power, and they're not connected. I can't figure it out right away. It says I'm making 5.4, and it's not connected, so I'm gonna go back, remake some batteries, or make some power cables. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like, it's connected now as soon as those drones make it, but it's already daytime. So I missed the entire night cycle of gathering up my concrete. But this should start increasing our battery. Now we're getting 5.4 charging, and we're storing it. So it has a max capacity of 200. Ooh, the vehicle batteries are low too. So there's a little charging spot that you can just drive up all the little dudes on. You see my storage thing has a bunch of storage stuff on it. And we'll unload all my resources there from the guy. Let's go in and make just a regular storage thing. We can store everything there. And that should, I think there's still some things left on the spaceship too. We'll make a couple of those because they're free. That's an easy way to make like a stockpile chains in a way, because there's certain levels that, there's certain distances that you can set your little harvesters to. So I'll make that sensor tower now, right next to the towers. Nope, away. Come on, there we go. Sensor tower in, because we were in a high meteor strike, or a medium meteor strike location. So we didn't want it too high, and then we'll connect the power line up to there. Maybe. Connect. Oh, speaking of meteor strikes, there was one. And it did drop a little bit of metal in there. You can see the metal. We can pick that up over time. So there's ways to get more things in the future. You can't really exhaust an entire map. The maps are pretty big. I'm sure if you played for a long time, you could exhaust a map. But the developers did say that there were ways to collect more resources once you run out of them, I guess. I don't know how. I didn't get that far, but hopefully the games are endless and you can continue playing and playing and playing. And now we're in our second night, and it looks like that wind turbine was working. There's a water node over there too, so we'll have to go get that pretty soon, just to get all of our basic necessities up. It really felt like in the beginning there were a lot of the playthroughs are going to be the same, much like Oxygen Not Included or RimWorld, where you have to get your basic necessities up. I'm going to build up a drone hub here. That allows you to have like 4 drones in a location. I think it can go up to like 8 drones, and those guys are just going to be in their area. You can set the distance around them, and we're going to go after that water mine now. Water extractor on this. Now, something I didn't recognize about this is that the water extractors, it's not just that little hexagon. You can extract like in an area around it. So I was, you'll see at the end of this playthrough, like I'm having a lot of problem getting water, and it's because I couldn't figure out that I could put multiple water harvesters on the same spot. There's also moisture collectors from like Star Wars lore, where you can put them up in the air and it collects water. But I think those take a lot of power. And there you see right in there were moisture vaporators, I think they're called. So let's get in. I didn't see that I had those 2 Stirling generators as prefabricated buildings. And there's the basic dome. We can build that. Domes are where people live, and the people live in the specific dome. So they don't travel between domes. There we go. We'll build up the drone, what's that called? The drone recharge thing. I'm going to build it up, and then we'll just drive our little dudes over to it, and they'll fill up the stuff. There you go. So watch that. Watch the power get filled up. Just starts charging, and the little battery goes up and up and up. I like it. It's a pretty cool thing. So we do have we're waiting for fuel to launch that rocket up. And I think the people that I had, the USA allows for 4. Those are my sponsors. They allow for 4 different rockets at any given time on the planet or in transit. So you can't have more than that. You can buy them for $3 billion each, I think, an additional rocket, which it takes a long time. You can get the special metals and other things that you can export back to Earth. So that's how to get money if you need it. So bring it back. We'll go look at our water supply. Now we will need to bring over some resources to it. I'm going to send over both my rover and my transport, and we'll start up another research. Let's do... Which is this one? Allow cleaning is salvaged and destroy buildings. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I didn't go for that one. I really wanted to get a lot of the vaporators. That's kind of what I was chasing towards the end of this, towards the end of the playthrough as well. I was going to go for a lot of the vaporators to get a lot of water, because I didn't understand that I could get more water off of one specific node. I'm going to continue scanning until I can see these, and there we go. So our little dudes get out, our little drones, and they're gathering resources from the back of that transport, and then they build up the moisture harvester. Cool. So it works, but now we need to start building in our what are they called? Yeah, we need power lines over to it, which takes a long time to drive over. Hey, there we go. And it doesn't follow the ground quite right, so you have to do it in multiple parts. Plus there's a limit length distance. One thing I also did not recognize is that power lines and aqueducts or piping break down over time. Everything kind of breaks down over time, so you have to have the materials and the resources to repair them up the best you can.
No active research.
No active research. Good.
Complete.
We got it.
Anomaly
and now,
analyzed.
Another anomaly. Oh, there's the drone hub. So I can build the drone hub now, not have to take the prefabricated buildings from Earth on their ships. Cool. So let's get that. They're going to build up all of the power lines if they can have metal. I believe it's metal. Right? Yeah, we don't have any metals on that guy. You can see a few of them have been built. So we'll unload the resources. We'll unload them, all of them on there, and we'll grab metals from that thing. So it's kind of a balance. Like, you want to bring ships back with resources, but it takes a lot of money. So you want to have enough resources at all times to repair, and then you kind of get into the creating of the industries. So you start with the rare resources from your ship, and then you build the industries up on the planet itself. So my guys are building up very nicely. You see there's a little bit of surface metal over there. They're building up a few more. There it goes. So it's not just little bitty chunks too. It's they build up a long stretch of it at any given time. We have a few more little pieces to build on this side. Hopefully, you see our little drones with the transport drone ship, transport carrier, RC transport, I think it's called. Will help that. Air production. Oxygen can be extracted. We'll have to get that eventually. You can see there's a lot of technology too. This game, I think a playthrough is going to be quite a long time. I'm not exactly sure how long it'll be, but it'll be quite a long time. So we'll get an oxalite generator going, which creates oxygen. There's the drones picking up the surface metal, bringing that back for our first little, our first little deal is almost done. We need a little bit more, so we'll bring it back. You have to make sure that little blue giant hexagon is in the right area, and then the drones will be working within that. Oh no, I made him drop. So the other guy's gonna go pick it up, and he'll drop that off and make it up. So it's kind of cool trying to balance the distance with where your resources are. So there'd be a lot of chains, like resource chains to get things from one spot to another. Cool, so we can start off buying a rocket if we wanted to, if we had that 3 million funding, which we don't really want, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I didn't recognize that I can just click cargo rocket there, because it has 3 rockets and 4 rockets available. So I could get 2 drone hubs if I wanted. I don't need any. I didn't understand what this screen was, because this was the first time that I did anything with it. So the moisture vaporator there, you see that. We have polymer factory. I wanted all of these prefab things, the machine parts and the Stirling generators are really cool. We have those. We have 2 of those, so I didn't grab another one, but I didn't recognize that I had another one. And they are expensive. You see that machine parts factory is $400 million. And then any money that you don't spend, you can kind of wait a little bit. So we still have 420 million, and then we have a few rockets that are available. The rockets themselves are free to launch, and they're reusable, so you can keep going over time. I really didn't understand at this point of playing what everything meant. So the first couple of times you play are going to be a really big learning process, and then I think everything after that is going to scale very nicely. So you'll understand very specific things to scale. So that little pipe thing on the top, that means there's pipes. It's needed pipes, and you saw the aqueducts in the last thing. We'll get another wind turbine or 4 or 5 out here just so we can get power running at all times. We'll have to connect those up. I did talk to the developers about this, and they basically said that you want to have like a good balance between wind and solar. Sometimes you get a dust storm, and the dust storms give a lot of wind power, but they also cover up your solar panels. So having a good amount of batteries to harvest all of that and save it up. And then you might have things break down. You don't have enough machine parts to make it work. So there's a big balance of trying to keep the power and trying to not keep the power, if that makes sense. It doesn't. I'm just talking now. No, I'm kidding. I understand what's going on. But I do need to start making this oxalate, or moxie. I guess it's moxie. And we have to connect that to the water production. So let's get the pipes going on. And there's the dome. So we'll start up the dome. And I did ask the developers like where the best place to put the dome, and you want to have the dome next to like that what's it called? The metals there. You see how the metals, and you want the dome next to it because your workers have to go do it. Those can't be mined with the drone, so you have to have the dome next to it, not over top of it. So I did a little cut there because I was talking to the devs about that, and it's a little bit weird if you've never played it. You don't really understand. You can see that I have a few of these still not connected, because I'm still in the thought process of them working together and connecting. But that little black plug-in line makes sense. And we do have new sector to scan. And we do get some more money every time you do that, and we found some more water that we can get as well. So we need to start hooking up the pipe works here to bring the pipes over. I don't remember when I do that, but we'll explore another sector. And it should go there, or the probe should look at it. So we need to get those pipes going. Blitz, make the pipes. Make the pipes, you nerd. You don't even know what that button means. But you'll see now in the life support that there's a water tower that we can have for storage, but we don't need that there. We're going to build that closer to our dome. And once we have that, I like doing a water tower and an oxygen tank. I liked having both of those together. They use the same piping, but they're not connected. So you don't really want to connect your water and your oxygen to the same pipes. I don't think they use the same ones, so that would make sense. And I do have the rocket in. You can see that there's a rocket at the bottom coming in. We'll drive in another oxygen pipeline here, all the way up and over. Bring it up and then back over to this side. And all of this is going to start breaking down eventually because I made a long way. And the developer's like, why you make it so long? And I'm like, I've never played this game before, and you gave us no instruction. So that was what's going on. So it's going to take a little bit of time for all of these guys to make it. And you can see I'm hooking up the dome itself to the pipelines. And I think that might be a really good spot after this ship lands. Yep, land that ship close to our original drones here. There you go. Right, we don't want it to overlap too much. And it can come on down. Come on down. Oh, sometimes with those anomalies, you see that in the top left. Ooh, there comes another spaceship. Sometimes when you research those anomalies, you get more research from them. So it's like alien tech on the planet, or you just understand something a little bit better about the planet. So we're going to bring our 2 little drones back. We have a little bit of area right in the middle here. There we go. Another sector scanned.
Select a sector.
You want to keep going at those at all times. And I like doing the ones around me. Very specifically.
There's
yes,
more
to
to
the Baron.
Baron.
We did unlock something else. Cool. Oh, and then finally, right after I do that.
Research complete.
So let's get that drone. What are we going to pick? I don't remember. We'll pick that one. I didn't actually pick anything. You nerd. What are you doing? Anyway, guys, I think that'll wrap it up for this first little clip today. I hope you've enjoyed this little preview with Surviving Mars. If you did, let me know. Stay tuned for a couple more videos of this on my channel. So thanks for watching, and keep your stick on the ice. We'll catch you next time.